It's 100 years, and I really don't feel like waving a flag about it, but I will still wave the flag of sackcloth for humility. I'm Mel McGinnis, and like I said, it's been 100 years. In fact, this very day, on the day this is being recorded, July the 10th, it happened. It started 100 years ago today in Dayton, Tennessee. It was the Scopes trial. It was like the O.J. Simpson trial of its day. In fact, it was the first trial that was broadcast coast to coast by way of radio. People were tuned in, and they were able to get transatlantic communication so that even Europe could hear about it. The Scopes trial, what was it about? On the surface, it was confronting the Butler Act, which prevented any teacher from instructing students that man evolved from lower life forms. Now, they're already teaching then that other life forms evolved from another source, but the prohibition was in Tennessee schools not to teach that man came from lower life forms. So Clarence Darrow, who was the person defending John Scopes, was basically hired by the ACLU, not so much to change the Butler Act as to attack Christianity. Why do I say that? Because William Jennings Bryan, he was the prosecuting attorney. And Darrow geniusly got Bryant to take the witness stand. Didn't have to do it, but Bryant did it anyway because they had an agreement that Darrow would also be cross-examined. So they basically shook on the deal. Bryant went up, and boy, did Darrow put him in a pretzel. Where did Cain get his wife? Bryant really didn't know. Do you really believe the Bible when it says 6-day creation? 6 literal 24 hours a day? Bryant said, no, I kind of believe millions of years. Right there. People saw weakness. People saw a person who really didn't believe what he confessed. People saw Christianity as weak. Oh, Bryant won the case, but he basically lost the battle because Christianity, through what Darrow did, seemed to be exposed for a weak apologetic. It's interesting, you see in this book the transcript of the Scopes trial, as well as other things included in what was going to be presented, but was eventually not. And there was a biologist who was allowed to speak, or to be in the trial, just one. He was a religious guy, but he was for Darrow, meaning the religious guy was all for evolution. It's so interesting. The guy was a Congregationalist. We see Christians beginning to cave even 100 years ago. And it flipped the script. Because back then, before that time, students were taught God is creator. Now, you can't teach that in school. You can't even teach intelligent design in most places. It's evolution. We think that this has nothing to do with politics. I think it does, because the more you buy into evolution, the more you buy into big government. Our founders were not atheistic evolutionists. Not all of them were Christians, of course. But when you see the Scopes trial take place, all of a sudden, there comes this wave of religious evolutionists. So evolution has gotten into the minds of so many in academia that it lays the groundwork for making government bigger, for bringing about a system contrary to what we were given since our inception. Because those individuals who signed the Declaration, they were ones who believed in a creator. Doesn't it state that right away in the Declaration? All men are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that governments are instituted among men to protect these rights. We've seen a significant drift from that creed. If that's what government was simply designed to do, we wouldn't be in the debt that we are in. We wouldn't see the size of government that we observe in Washington, D.C. I really think that this Scopes trial had a significant effect on the way we view government and in the way Christianity became subject to attack, because the attack is still being waged today. And that's why we need to be a people of 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. But set apart Christ in your heart. Be ready to give an answer for the hope that you have in you. But do this with gentleness and respect. We've got our work cut out for us, but let's live up to that challenge and not be afraid and back off from the truth of God's word. Have you noticed how much the story of evolution has changed? When that Butler Act was introduced to Tennessee schools and that evolution book was trying to be taught in those schools then had a book that said the white race is supreme to the lower races. Talk about racist. But evolution, of course, has had to change their story because that's so politically incorrect. This book, the Bible, has not changed. It's still the same word that was there in 1925. It's still the same word that was given to the apostles when Jesus was on earth. It's the same word that Moses gave to us, and it lasts throughout the centuries. And when evolution at one time taught that the white race, the Caucasian race, was superior to the other races, what did the Bible say? We all come from one man. We are one human race. That's the truth. Stand on the truth. Well, unlike Tony Kornheiser of Pardon the Interruption, I cannot promise you that I'll do better the next time. And unlike Tony, who will wave another flag, I'll just wave the flag of sackcloth for humility. As a follower of Jesus, I need Jesus.